Otto Hightower's political career is defined by calculation, ambition, and a relentless desire to secure power for himself and for his house. Yet one of his most consequential decisions that he ever made destroyed everything that he built, and eventually led to the ruin of his house. This decision was short-sighted in nature and was ultimately done simply because of intense dislike. What Otto intended as a move to block a rival ultimately laid the groundwork for the very instability he sought to avoid, culminating in the devastating civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. And what exactly was that mistake? Advising King Viserys to name Princess Rhaenyra as his heir over Daemon.
No one here can know what Daemon would do were he king, but no one can doubt his ambition.
Under such circumstances, it would not be an aberration for the king to name a successor.
Well, who else?
The king's firstborn child.
Rhaenyra.
Daemon is your heir.
Daemon was not made to wear the crown, but I believe that you were.
At the time of his council, Otto's reasoning appeared sound. Prince Daemon, Viserys' brother and the presumed heir, was volatile, ruthless, and openly disdainful of the political order Otto represented. Otto feared that Daemon's ascent would threaten both the realm and his own influence at court. When Daemon's remark about the king's deceased infant son, the heir for a day, reached Viserys, Otto seized the opportunity. He urged the grieving king to disinherit Daemon and instead name Rhaenyra as heir. In doing so, Otto removed an immediate threat and seemed to stabilize the succession. However, this decision had unintended long-term consequences. By formally establishing Rhaenyra as heir and compelling the lords of Westeros to swear fealty to her, Otto helped create a precedent that Viserys became emotionally and politically committed to uphold. Even after Viserys remarried and fathered sons with Alicent Hightower, Otto's own daughter, the king refused to alter the line of succession.
It remains for Viserys to name him heir to the throne. He's the king's firstborn son.
I don't know that his grace sees it so clearly.
If you were to name young Aegon heir, Your Grace, I had assumed, as he's your firstborn son, many of us had assumed.
What Otto may have initially viewed as a temporary solution became a permanent declaration in Viserys' mind. The king's attachment to Rhaenyra, reinforced by guilt over her mother's death and a desire to honor his earlier choice, made it nearly impossible to reverse course without undermining royal authority. Ironically, Otto's original goal, to prevent Daemon from inheriting the throne, blinded him to a more advantageous long-term strategy. Had he exercised patience, events may have unfolded far more favorably for House Hightower. Viserys was still relatively young and likely to remarry, as he eventually did. If Otto had focused solely on positioning Alicent as queen without interfering in the succession, their future son would have been the natural male heir under traditional Westerosi customs. In such a scenario, Daemon's claim could have been bypassed more organically, without the need to elevate Rhaenyra and create competing lines of legitimacy.
No, I've not spoken to Daemon in years.
Since you supplanted him as heir.
You mustn't ignore the certain truth that if Rhaenyra were to step over Aegon to ascend the throne, the realm would tear itself apart.
Instead, Otto's intervention produced a fractured succession. Rhaenyra's established claim clashed directly with that of Aegon, Otto's grandson. Both sides possessed plausible legitimacy, Rhaenyra by royal decree and sworn oaths, Aegon by tradition and male preference inheritance. This ambiguity made conflict almost inevitable. When Viserys died, Otto himself moved to crown Aegon, directly contradicting the very succession he had helped create. The result was not a clean transfer of power, but a bitter and bloody struggle that engulfed the realm. Even without hindsight, Otto's mistake was not merely a miscalculation, but a failure of strategic foresight. His desire to neutralize an immediate threat led him to take an action that constrained future options. By elevating Rhaenyra, he unintentionally ensured that any later attempt to advance his own bloodline would be seen as treason.
Aegon Targaryen sits the Iron Throne.
Aegon has been crowned as his successor.
The Conqueror's crown, wields the Conqueror's sword, has the Conqueror's name.
The Dance of the Dragons, with its immense loss of life and the near destruction of House Targaryen, can thus be traced in part to this pivotal decision. Otto Hightower's move against Daemon succeeded in the moment but destabilized the future. Had he trusted in time, tradition, and the likelihood of Viserys remarrying, his grandson might have ascended the throne uncontested. Instead, his interference helped ignite one of the most destructive conflicts in all of Westerosi history.